wait a moment for everybody to get started. Coming into the Zoom room here. And as we come in, let's just take a nice deep breath from wherever you're coming from. Maybe you've been rushing about the morning. Perhaps you've been in the midst of work or taking kids to and from events or school. Let's just take a moment and take it all in and come present to being together today. And I want to let you know that today I have a number of things that are prepared for us, and the biggest of which is for each of us to just be here right now, and perhaps being able to tune into our true soul's longing, which is truly to live aligned, to live on purpose, and to live an extraordinary life. And so I desire to show you how we get to create this. Yesterday in our masterclass, we talked all about community. Today, we're going to talk about some very specific wellness strategies that come out of the European lifestyles and the blue zones. And of course, tomorrow we get to talk about purpose. So if you'll join me with putting everything on mute, allow ourselves to be free of as many distractions as possible. And as we mentioned yesterday, we want to start by settling our nervous system. Our nervous system is incredible because when it's regulated, we feel calm, we feel peace. We're actually able to make decisions from a place of responding versus reacting. Whereas if our nervous system is on high alert, we tend to be more reactionary. And yesterday we talked about breathing in and out through your nose, which has the power to give you more oxygen and helps to reduce your stress. And we also talked about evening, which is just the gift of just gentle touch. And today I want to talk about our vagus nerve, which is the 10th cranial nerve. And this is an amazing nerve that helps to actually regulate the parasympathetic nervous system. And it has to do with all the involuntary functions like your heart rate, your digestion. How many people do we know that have digestive challenges these days? It seems to be kind of one of the top ailments that people suffer from. And then respiratory function. So the vagus nerve, when it is regulated, we have our heart rate is regulated. Like you think about it, when you're in those times of peak response and go, 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 our heart rate elevates. Some people deal with blood pressure issues, and sometimes this can be due to having a nervous system that is constantly on high alert. And when it's in balance, oh my goodness, your digestion is better, your breathing is easier, your heart can get into a regular rhythm. And so vagal toning will really help to support all these different systems so that they can actually function properly. So if you're one of those people that is dealing with any kind of digestive issues, heart things, you're going to want to tune in today because this is going to enhance all of those functions. Plus, it has the benefit of enhancing our mental health. And if we look back over the past several years, there's been a heightened level of stress for most people, including our young people. And as a result, we're seeing an increase in mental health, in our mental health overall. And so this incredible ability to just impact your vagus nerve, and it's really simple, and I'm going to show you how. There's several ways that you can do this. One is through singing. Yes, this is a picture of me. It's a clip from a video of me singing in a choir. And singing is an amazing way to stimulate your vagus nerve. Gargling, good old fashioned gargling after you've brushed your teeth. Humming. I have a father who used to hum and whistle all the time. All these things actually really help to facilitate good vagal toning. So much like with exercise, we want to be able to have good, healthy tone with that. even things like laying on a mat, doing some yoga. I was doing that this morning. Walking is one of my favorite activities, so I do that a lot. Cycling. My son was just out cycling with a whole group of kids yesterday. All of these activities can actually support vagal tone. And then, of course, deep breathing, which we started out our time together with just some nice deep breaths. And even when I mentioned the word breathing or breath to you, you probably took a little bit of a breath. So it's all these really simple things that we can do that are going to help to facilitate this good vagal tone. The other thing that a lot of people have tuned into lately is cold exposure. This is not something I am currently participating in myself. I tend to avoid the cold at all costs. In fact, I'm sitting here with a blanket on my lap because I love to be cozy and warm, and I could easily live in the tropics. However, I know many people in my world who have started even just with cold showers. All of this actually helps with your resilience and really helps overall with your mental well-being, and it helps with the vagus nerve. And then any mindfulness practices that you have, all of these things. So the cool thing about the vagus nerve is it's not just, you have to do this or else you're not going to have a good vagal tone. It's all of these things, and you're probably already doing a number of these different activities without even thinking about it. And if you're an extrovert, well, you're talking and maybe singing in the car and all these kinds of things. So good news, you're actually helping your vagus nerve. And then laughter and socializing. Okay, big cheers for this one. And, it was interesting. I was speaking with somebody yesterday and we were talking about the things that happened a few years ago where all of us went into this place of isolation and we lost sight of some of the basic things that we get to do as human beings. And that's with being in community, coming together, having a good laugh. Like I follow a few comedians online because I just love that little kick of laughter in my day. And especially if you really get going. In fact, my partner's kind of a comedian. We all keep saying, you really should do stand up. You really, really like it's got to be on your bucket list to do stand up. And the other night we were all sitting around the table. One of my kids and his girlfriend had come over. I've got 2 kids that have moved out, 2 kids that still live at home. Anyways, there were several of us sitting around the dinner table and he just started cracking some jokes, and oh my gosh, I haven't laughed that hard in a while, and it just felt good. When the tears are streaming down your face because you're just laughing so hard. All of these things actually help to support all of the nervous system functioning, and of course uplift your mood. Like who doesn't like it when your mood is uplifted, right? So I want to give you an exercise today that's really, really simple. And it's literally stroking the sides of your neck. And so you can do this by like, if you sort of separate your fingers a little and go up around your ears and just start to pull it down, not too tight. Sometimes I like to get in there and get really tight, but all of this just even super gentle. Like if you really activate it and it's quite sensitive there, just this gentle touch, all of that helps to stimulate the vagus nerve. So really simple. I find myself, if things are kind of electrified around me and I'm in this kind of chaotic mode, sometimes, you'll find yourself just doing that without even thinking about it. It's actually really great exercise for you. So I'm just hanging out here for a little bit so that I can tone my vagus nerve and help to regulate my nervous system. All right. So how does that feel? Right? It's like we just take a moment for ourselves. It feels good. It feels good. And so often we're in this intense pace of life and we're rushing and we're on high alert and we got that cortisol and we got the adrenaline going. In fact, today, as I was grabbing my tea, I was like, oh yeah, run back upstairs, grab the tea, run back downstairs, get that adrenaline pumping. Now, it's good when we've got the adrenaline going and we're doing cardio exercise and all those things. But oftentimes it's because we're in a state of being stressed out, overwhelmed. We're just in this place in life where things are just in a way where we feel the adrenaline, not because we're doing cardio. We feel the adrenaline because of what's going on in our minds. Our minds are so powerful that they are actually able to stimulate the systems and the things that are going on in our body. And what we're finding is that we're exhausted. And as we talked about yesterday, we're reaching for the caffeine, we're reaching for the sugar rushes, we're looking for, anything to kind of help us to manage this incredible pace. And at the end of the day, we have almost no time for ourselves. And what we truly desire is a sense of calm, a sense of peace. We all desire to be coming from this place of love and to feel love, and we desire alignment. So I'm going to talk with you in a little bit today about walking the journey with those who actually can support us in this way of stepping more into a peacefulness, stepping more into this place of love, stepping more into a place of wholeness within ourselves and collectively as a community. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. And this masterclass is for you if you desire to create a life you love, if you truly desire longevity and not just living long with fistfuls of medication, but you actually desire to live a really good, vibrant life. This is for you if you're feeling a little bit disconnected, you're feeling like, I don't know, I'm kind of feeling out of touch with myself, I'm feeling out of touch with other people, and if you're not totally in alignment. Now, if you weren't with us yesterday, I just want to give you a little brief bio about me. I am a mom of 4 kids, ages almost 6 to 21, and they're just absolutely the lights of my life. I also have a great partner who is humorous, as I just mentioned. I have a podcast called Be Well and Be You, which you can find on any of the platforms that you listen. And I'm a transformational coach, a wellness consultant, and soon to publish my first book. Now, I have this thing called a love-hate relationship with social media. Anybody else feel the same? Oh, goodness. I love to create. I'm one of these people. I love to write. I love to produce videos, anything that's creative. I'm your girl. But there's this thing about social media, and you kind of get sucked into this vortex, the constant scroll. And so I find I have periods of time where I'm like, yeah, I love doing it, and I love the people I'm following, and this is so great. And then I have other times I'm like, I don't want to touch this. I want to throw my phone into the ocean and never touch it again. So I do have this thing. And then yesterday we were talking about the nun study, and I've had this playing in my mind for about 25 years now, where these nuns had these incredible lives that they lived. And even though when the scientists studied their brains post-mortem, and they would detect the signs and symptoms for Alzheimer's and dementia, it never actually manifested in their mind. So I have these things kind of playing off in my mind, this like, what are we doing? This kind of this grand experiment with social media. And then I have this nun study playing in my mind. And I I kept feeling like there's something more. Like there's a way that we can actually live our lives where we can have these regulated nervous systems, where we can truly live on purpose, where we can actually live in community, even though our world is kind of not really set up for community nowadays. And I watched a documentary on Netflix that recently that really brought this all together. Now, I'd heard about the blue zones, but I hadn't really studied as much as the documentary film producer who brought this Netflix series into play. But it's the Blue Zones, and it's an incredible documentary. If you haven't yet watched it, highly recommend it. And today we're going to talk about what research came from that, and we're going to talk about the European lifestyle as well. So there's these 5 zones across the world: Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece, the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, and Loma Linda, California. And what they found was that there are strong community ties. They have incredible social support. Their diets, even though they're varied in each of those communities, some of them are ocean communities, some of them don't have access to the ocean, so they're eating different foods, but overall they're whole foods, right? And then their active lifestyles, the fact that they're literally moving their bodies every day. And I'm not talking about going to the gym. I'm talking about they have physical movement, like real movement every day. And what it has led to is incredible longevity. So with the blue zones, these are the 5 pockets around the world where people live to be centenarians. They have the most amount of people who live to be in their 100s. Many of them live into their 90s. And the thing is, they're thriving. These are not people who are, sitting there, in their later years, just with their fistfuls of medication and, miserable about life and feeling isolated. These are people who are living well, living really, really well. So a certain number of elements are common. Their meal portions, they don't have ginormous portions. Sometimes we look at the size of our plates even, you think, wow, how does that actually even fit into my little stomach, right? Which I believe is like the size of your fist. And so we tend to, in North America, we tend to eat massive portions. So they found that the meal portions were much more moderate in the blue zones. The quality of food, the whole foods, the physical activity, and dedicated time for rest. Now, I don't know about you, but I can get really caught up in life and I can get going and completely forget to rest. So in fact, this morning I thought, I am just going to be. I'm not going to focus on all my doing and all the things that I should be doing or could be doing. I'm just going to be. So I did some meditations, did some just real light activities to just come into the place of my being. And the other thing for these blue zones, really incredible communal activities. And I love this part. It's all ages together. Now, I don't know if you've ever read the book, Hold On to Your Kids by Gordon Neufeld, but he talks about how in our society, in our culture, what we've done is we have in every area, whether it's schools, whether it's workplace, we are constantly, or churches, we're constantly putting the same ages together with the same ages. And we have this all the way through school. Kids have K to 12, you got 13 years of schooling where they're only with their peers. And what happens is we create a culture where when somebody needs something, looking for advice, looking for mentorship, who do they go to? They go to their peers. They go to the people who are in the exact same season of life. And what they've found in these blue zone communities, they don't have that segregation. It doesn't exist. The elders hang out with the young people and everybody in between, because the elders learn from the young people learn from the elders. And it's just this beautiful synchronistic way of being where we're always in community with all ages. And so, we look at our culture and we look at how much our teenagers think that the older people are crazy. They think the older people are out of touch. I happen to have a couple of teenagers, so I know this to be true. This has been my experience. They think, well, you don't get us because you're so old. And in the blue zone communities, that's not part of their paradigm. It's not part of their cultural understanding or cultural expectation. So it's really pretty extraordinary that they do have this sense of it is all ages together. In Okinawa, Japan, they actually delegate a few friends from the time they're young to travel through life together. And it becomes almost like an alternative to a bank. This is actually how it started out, was this alternative to a bank where they would pool their resources, pool their money. And what they found happened over time was it became a committed social circle to count on, people that they could rely on, people that they could go to and be and just share the life experience with. In Loma Linda, California, it's actually, there's a high population of Seventh-day Adventists, and they have their Sabbath on Saturdays. And in this community, they have communal lunch every Saturday. And then they're all encouraged to go for a nature walk every Saturday afternoon. Now, not only do they have all of this on Sundays, but they also have throughout the week different activities, and they have an active lifestyle together. So, so often we think, oh yeah, well, in Europe, of course, they have better access to high quality foods, or, it's just part of their mentality. But you think about this is an intentional community. And within that, these individuals are living longer and they're living healthier. And so very much like this is the European lifestyle. They focus more on preventative healthcare versus what we tend to do, which is reactionary healthcare. And we want you in the system, and we want to keep you in the system. And then we're going to create more things that keep you in the system and keep you locked in. So we have this disease mentality, this illness mentality, versus the European way, where it's much more about preventative. What can we do long before we're sick in order to live a healthy life? They also have incredible access to green spaces, their use of public transportation even. I was speaking about this with somebody yesterday whose family member had moved to Vancouver, which is the major city next door to me. And in Vancouver, they have bike lanes everywhere. Public transportation is the norm. Whereas where I live, it's not the norm. And in fact, I've sent my kids by bus to school for several years. And so many parents think I'm crazy because why am I not driving my children to school? Now, it started out of a need because I had a newborn baby and I was messing up her sleep schedule every day by doing the drop off and pickup. So I taught my children how to take the bus. Well, when you go across the world, this is normal. People take the bus. And when you're taking the bus or taking any mode of public transportation like that, you tend to walk more. You have to walk to the bus stop or to the train station. You have to walk from the train station to your destination. So there's just that many more opportunities during the day to physically move your body. And then, of course, in Europe, they have much stricter regulations on food and how they grow their foods and how they're manufactured and what ingredients go in them and the genetically modified ingredients. And I mean, on and on and on. So they clearly have a very different way of even just looking at how foods are nourishment for our bodies. Whereas I feel like in North America, we tend to look at it as, mass production, and whoever wants to, have the edge on producing the most amount. And, whether it's farming practices, we look at everything in massive quantities. So then all of our farming practices are how do we make that more efficient versus how do we make it more nourishing? How do we make it more helpful for your long-term health? We're looking at yield. We're looking at how many more. And then we're also looking at when it gets to the grocery store, it's got to look perfect because goodness knows we're never going to touch something that's bruised. So it's got to look good and you got to have massive quantities. Whereas when you look at the European lifestyle, a lot of it is based in some of their traditional methods, and they're also very particular about what practices that they are allowing. And then, of course, we talked about the portions with the blue zones, and we talked about physical activity and communal activities, that just all of these pieces create a lifestyle that is so rich and so nourishing versus our go, 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 go lifestyle that we have. The other thing that the European lifestyle has an advantage with is longer vacations and shorter working hours. And I think a lot of us have been able to recognize that we do tend to put in a lot of hours. We do tend to, minimize the benefit of rest. And yet oftentimes when we have more rest in our day, in our week, we can be more productive. We can actually have more inspiration. We can feel like we're more excited about what it is that we're doing versus go, 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 go. And then we're dragging our heels and feeling less than inspired and unmotivated and all of this. So how can all of these pieces with the blue zones and the European lifestyles, how can this actually inform the choices that we're making? So the top keys for well-being and longevity, as we mentioned, the whole foods, the activity, the community, and rest. And I really want to highlight rest. And I include play in here because so often rest to us, when we're exhausted, we're at the end of the day, rest is just turn on Netflix, chill out, veg out, turn off. That's not real rest. And it's also not real play. So there's different things that we can do. And a lot of these you're already doing, or if you're not doing, I just encourage you to try one thing, whether it's meditation. Now, maybe you're already full on with meditation. Meditation can be such a beautiful gift. I highly recommend once a day. If once a day is too much, then, a couple of mornings a week or a couple of afternoon or evenings a week, really, really great for coming into that place of rest, unplugging from your screens, putting them in another room, getting them out of your way so that you can just come into a place of being centered and being present. And I would also add to this, creating boundaries. In order for us to have more rest in our day, we're probably going to need to say no to a couple of things. Like for me, when I first started teaching my kids how to take the bus, it actually meant I didn't have to rush every morning, rush to get the baby out of bed and change her diapers, and rush to get all the lunches made, and then rush to get the kids off to school. And at the time it was a 20-minute drive to get to their school. And then it was another 20 minutes to get home. And by then the baby needs to feed again. And it was like, go, 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 go. And I just had no way to just stop unless I said no to something. And what I said no to was driving my kids to school. What I said yes to was a bit more time for me to have a little bit more breathing room. And it also meant a yes to my children learning to have a little more self-reliance and relying on one another and having a little more independence. So oftentimes when we say no to something, it gives a new freedom or a new opportunity for somebody else. I said no once to a contract position that I had because I just felt like it was really no longer in alignment, but I was feeling like, oh my gosh, who's going to take over the role? I felt responsible for that. But what ended up happening was by me saying no, somebody else was given an opportunity and they did a way better job than I did. And it lit them up in new ways so that they had a new creative outlet for themselves. And it's now the highlight of it's one of the highlights of their job now. So for me saying no, it actually created a new opportunity. So sometimes we think when we say no, oh, you know what, it's gonna impact everybody negatively, but not necessarily. Sometimes there's unforeseen things that are going to be able to come into place when we say no to something. When we say no, it's looking at, okay, now what can I do to have more rest, to have more me time? The other thing that I implemented 1.5 years ago was I joined a choir. And that choir has been instrumental in providing an opportunity once a week for me to just do something that is just for fun. It's not for my family. It's not for my business. It is purely fun. There's no other agenda here. It is just to be. And my choir happens to be amazing, and we all love each other, and all of us say it's our highlight of the week. And I'm telling you, since implementing this, I have become more creative in other areas of my life. I've become more playful and more fun, because until then, I really wasn't doing any hobbies. Like, I gotta admit, I tend to be the kind of person that loves to work. I love to create. I love to produce. I love to go, do. And yet, taking this opportunity that was just for play has shifted things for me. My daughter gets teased because she loves to crochet. I mean, people are always jealous because she creates these great, beautiful things, but it's so cool because she has this hobby that allows her to just be, allows her to just have fun. So what could you do? What could you either implement into your life or say no to starting today that could shift the balance for you so that you can begin to feel a little more restful, a little more rejuvenated, a little more inspired? And you might be thinking, oh, like, you don't know my life, Kimberly. Like, there's so many things I'm responsible for. How could I possibly let go of one thing? How could I possibly introduce one thing? Just pick one. Just honest to goodness. It might be that as you're driving to work, you play music that has no lyrics, and it's just beautiful, melodic, soulful. Maybe it's sort of meditative music, so that while you're driving to work, you're just able to just settle your nervous system a little, come into that place of being. Yes, you're driving, but maybe this is what you can manage for now. Whatever it is that you can manage, be intentional, because you're worth it. You deserve to have a life where you feel fulfilled, where you feel inspired, where you feel rested, so that you can continue on, so that you can do other things that light you up. You are totally worth it. And I love this quote from Rumi, the 13th century Persian poet. You are not a drop in the ocean, you're the entire ocean in a drop. You are so worthy. You are inherently worthy. If you are here, and that sperm and the egg that got together and said yes to one another, and that baby became a part of this world, because you are here, you are worth it. You're an incredible, incredible human. Can I just tell you, you are amazing. You are meant to be here. You have so much to bring to your community, to the world, just by being you. And when we take time for rest, there's more of us that can show up. There's more of us that can actually be here and be present. Now, I know what it's like. I've attended lots of classes over the years. Oh my goodness, I can't help myself. I have to be constantly learning. So I'm constantly attending free courses and paid courses, and I hire coaches, and oh my goodness, on and on and on. But I also know it's really easy to forget. We're going to wrap up at the end of our time together, and you're going to go away, and you're probably going to forget a lot of what I just shared. And it's easy to look at what I've just shared and go, you know what, it's all well and good for you, but it's just not for me. The reality is, I would say 99% of us, we actually need somebody to walk beside us on the journey. We need somebody to actually say, hey, did you take time for yourself today? Hey, what are you most grateful for today? By the way, it's what we do around the dinner table when we're actually gathered together around the dinner table, which we try to do between 5 to 7 nights a week. when we gather together, the first thing we do is talk about what we're grateful for. Now, if I was not guiding this, or my partner was not guiding this, chances are my children would not remember to do this. Well, hopefully when they get older, they will. But most of us need continual reminding. Like, you think about it when you've got nieces and nephews, or you're raising your own children. How many times do we have to remind them to say please and thank you? And it's not because they're dumb or stupid or ignorant. No, we all need constant reminders. It's just part of being human. And yet, when we have people around us who love us, who want to uplift us, want us to have our very best life, that is where the tipping point happens. That is where we begin to see in the communities, like the communities with the nuns, with the Blue Zone communities, with the European communities. That's the tipping point, that there are people around them who actually care and will be there through thick and thin. So you can absolutely take time out for yourself. You can actually, absolutely begin to implement some of the nervous system healing techniques that I've just showed you. You can absolutely, go for it in your life and create your own abundance. And you can absolutely be joyful. And you can try to accomplish all your goals. And you can do all the research towards whatever it is that you're dreaming of. And you can learn new strategies, and you can try to keep on track. Absolutely. This is possible, but it's not the Blue Zone way. The Blue Zone way, if we think about it, is all about togetherness. And the title for this webinar is Unlocking Possibilities, Living in Alignment and Elevating the Collective. So yes, I'm here connecting with you. And I'm also looking at the we. This isn't about a solo show. Let's face it, we've all done the solo show. We've probably done okay. But this is about a collective. This is about all of our gifts, all of our strengths, all of us coming together. Do you see the power of community? Do you see the power of this for your journey to unlocking whatever possibilities? And I believe that there are unlimited possibilities in the quantum field, in our universe, for each one of us. And when we live in alignment, and when we are partnered with amazing people who are lit up and desire the same, oh my gosh, there is a beautiful way for us to move forward. So if you're ready for a new, old way of doing life, I want to introduce you to Uplifted Collective. And you'll see the Celtic knot around here and in this beautiful circle, because for me, this is about everybody unifying and coming together to uplift one another and to truly make a difference, not only in our own lives, but in the lives of others as well. So Uplifted Collective, I call this your virtual Blue Zone. And it's a place for transformative connections, and it's a place for longevity. It's a place for joyful, blissful living and connections. This is possible. It is absolutely possible. The Blue Zone and European lifestyles, wherever you live, this is a possibility. So I want you to imagine a platform off social media. I'm not talking about your typical group on any of the social media platforms. I'm not talking about any of your typical chat rooms. I'm talking about something off social media. I'm talking about an intentional community. And just sit with that for a second. So much of our life, we live by default. So much of our life, we just kind of roll with it, go through the motions. But I want you to imagine intentional. I want you to imagine an uplifting experience. I want you to imagine a place where there's no room for judging one another, criticizing one another, shaming one another. That there is no place for that here. I want you to imagine a place where every single person desires to uplift the collective. I want you to imagine a place where you receive weekly coaching, you receive wisdom from your community, a place where you're learning from all manner of people, energy healers, spiritual guides, coaches, authors, artists. I mean, on and on and on. So this is about stepping outside of what we typically think of as online communities and into cultural software, which is actually specifically designed to create life transforming community. And it's designed for you to grow, designed for you to thrive, designed for you to have really, truly meaningful connections with like-hearted souls, not just like-minded. We're not all like-minded. We have different ideas and different thoughts and different backgrounds, but we can be like-hearted, where we all come to this place with wide open hearts, ready to give, and hands ready to receive. This is a practice I am working on because I tend to be that person that just, I just want to give all the time, give, give, give. And I'm learning, oh yeah, I can ask to receive as well. That's how the universe works, right? We give and we receive. And this isn't about just, I can do it, I can muscle through, I can get through this hard time, I can do it on my own. This is about no more of that and coming together as a collective where we can all benefit. And I want to show you what some of our members are saying. Now, I want to let you know, this is a brand new community. We just launched in January. So we're just in the baby stages and it's really exciting. And we're all just kind of figuring it out. And you know, we're coming together and we're sharing and we're learning how to be vulnerable with one another, which all of that always takes a little bit of time, right? Whenever we're in new relationships, it takes time for us to really come together and to hold the space for one another. And we're doing this regularly and we're loving it. So this is Joanne. She says, I joined Uplifted Collective without really knowing what it was all about. She actually joined before hearing the January Masterclass. My friend told me about this group and said that I would love Kimberly. It's been an experience it's hard to put into words. Kimberly's a wonderful host, and it's clear to me that she's meant to do this work. It's about community, it's about intuition, it's about healing, it's about vulnerability, and it's about growing. Honestly, it's about you and finding yourself with many like-minded people and creating a community. Kimberly has many experiences to share, but she also strives to learn from others. It's a beautiful place to be. Now, this is from Sherry, and because this is an online community, it's a virtual community, but we also have local experiences as well. And as we continue to grow and expand, people are going to be able to host local experiences in their own region as well. And that's what we encourage. So locally, to me, we have a healing circle once a week. So Sherry says, the healing circle is a highlight of my week, a place to go and unwind and share a beautiful evening with a collective group of people with like-minded visions. It's a place to learn, grow, share experiences, and heal yourself and help others do the same. We all bring what special talents we may have to share. We've learned that we never quite know where the evening will take us. It's so true. We never know. It's just magical, but it is always to exactly where it is needed most. So would you like a little peek at our community and what this platform looks like? So this is just showing you a little bit of the layout, and you can see our kickoff event, which we had in January. So it's a place where we can post events. It's a place where we can connect with one another. It's a place for members to chat. I mean, on and on. It is really, really a fun place. There's a place for everybody to put their own bio, so you can share something from the heart so that we know who we're connecting with. Then it also gives you a place for you to now when you're dealing with something and you just kind of want a little advice, or you'd love just somebody to say, hey, I'm cheering you on. We have a hub where it's all about navigating your challenges, and you can go in there and you can put in a post, and whoever would love to comment and cheer you on, support you, offer wisdom, it all goes in there. You also get to see who lives near you, which is really fun. So if you do put in your location when you join our group, you can actually see who lives near you, which is super cool, because then you can, if you decide, hey, I'm going for a hike this weekend, who lives near me? I'm going to invite them. So it is encouraging us to not only do the online, but just with how this is designed, it actually encourages us to meet locally as well. So you're probably asking, okay, lay it on me. What does this cost? What's the price for this? So I'm going to show you exactly how this breaks down. So we have weekly group coaching that, for the most part, I am the facilitator. And a lot of times I bring content, but I'm bringing a lot of questions. So we're all doing a lot of soul reflection, and then we're sharing our responses. Sometimes we're dancing. Sometimes we've got a guest speaker with us. We had somebody who did a somatic breath work session with us. And then all of that is recorded so that you can come and be a part of this anytime that you like. Of course, live is the best, but it is something that we do record it in case you can't make it. And then we have different events that, I mean, honestly, the value is untold. Like our healing circle, untold value for that. And then making new friends for life. I mean, really, who can put a price on making heart-centered friends for life? And then really, this is all about living healthy and feeling well in your soul. And ultimately, most of us really want to make a difference. We don't want to be just in it for me. Yes, we want to do our own healing, but when we do that, we have so much more to give. Our cup overflows. So with the weekly group coaching and the regular events, this could be $500 a month. But I'm offering it to you for $44 a month. And if you pay annually, it's only $450 for the year. I mean, last year I signed up for 2 different coaching programs that only ran for 12 weeks. And I paid multiple thousands of dollars. Let me tell you, I paid a lot, which I'm willing to invest, right? I'm willing to do that. And I'm offering it to you for this price because I want to reach the most amount of people for whom this is the right fit for them. So if you're looking at this on a daily basis, I mean, it's less than a latte, like far less than a latte. And if you are in Canada, that works out, if you times it by 1.39, it works out to about $2.03 a day. So my invitation is for you to be among the trailblazers, the visionaries, the catalyst for change, that we get to do things differently. And this is an opportunity for you not just to be a member, but to actually be a part of crafting this community. We are new, and so the energy is new, and we are shifting as we are led, and you get to come and be part of that. Now, today through March 11th, I have some special bonuses for you if this is the right fit for you. Now, if this isn't the right fit for you, that's okay. Come and join us on tomorrow's masterclass as well. We're going to talk about purpose, which I think for most of us, we desire to live a life on purpose. So even if Uplifted Collective is not for you, that's all good. Come back tomorrow. You also might know people for whom this is the right place for them. This is the place for them to come and be seen and be heard and be loved and be known. So I have several bonuses for you. The first is a cookbook that I will send to you. And the value I put here is $25, but really with all these recipes to share with loved ones and my famous granola recipe, it's kind of priceless. You're also, if you sign up by Monday morning at 8 a.m., you're also going to get a one-on-one coaching session with me, which is valued at $111. I love angel numbers, so that's why I price things the way I price them. And you are also going to get a one-on-one healing session with me, which is also valued at $111. So with all of these three bonuses, which total $247 USD, if you were to add this all up, $500 a month, plus the $247 in extra bonuses, this would amount to $6,000 a year. And you get it for $450 a year. So pretty great value, I would say. In fact, when I was pricing this all out, I was like, damn, that's really good. If it was me sitting in your seat, I'd be like, yes, yes, yes. But that's because I hold this vision and I'm pretty passionate about it, as you can tell, pretty excited about it. But I mean, just honest to goodness, the value really here is untold. All you need to do is go to upliftedcollective.co. You'll see the landing page there. You'll get all the information. And the cool thing is, so this is what it looks like at upliftedcollective.co. It's not .com. So just be really careful when you're putting it in. It's upliftedcollective.co. And you'll see this, and you can either click right here to choose the plan, or you can scroll down to see some of the write-up about our community. But this is ultimately what you're going to come to, and you just click choose. And then from there, you get to pick whichever option you like. And the cool thing is you get to put in your information before you pay. So it's really, this is about you as a human being first. First and foremost, we want to see you. Oh, and I do want to mention with this, make sure that when you're paying, you go over here and you click either monthly, or if you click that button, it'll switch it over to the annual pay. So you get to pick whatever works for you. And the reason that I'm showing you all these steps is because so often we assume people know how to use all this technology, but when it's new technology, some of us need guided steps. Now, this is being recorded, so you're going to be welcome to replay this. If you get, lost in how to sign up, just go back to the replay and you'll be able to see all of this there. So you're going to accept the terms of use. You're going to want to get email updates because that's how we stay connected a lot of times. You're actually going to download the app and have that on your phone, and make sure you click yes for all the notifications. I was speaking with a group member not that long ago. He's like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm like, have you got the notifications set? Oh no. Finally figured out the notifications, and there was 35 different messages from weeks. It's not like you're getting 35 messages in a day. Don't worry, we do not bombard and overwhelm. Anyways, then you're going to get here to the payment option, and you're going to be able to select how you pay. So this is for you if you're seeking to craft a life you love. This is for you if you're longing for vitality and longevity, if you're feeling slightly disconnected with others or yourself, and you desire a powerful, intentional, beautiful, rich community that you can be part of, that really is like a sacred place to come home. We really are a sanctuary. We really are a place where you're going to receive guidance. Let's face it, life can be really stinking challenging. And if we don't have somebody to mentor us or guide us, we don't have a community alongside of us, it's so much harder. And this is really about supportive connections and a space for all of our growth. Now, you're thinking to yourself, but it's still online. Like, Kimberly, I thought this was supposed to be like all about, the blue zones, and they're not online. Well, yes, it is online, but let's revolutionize our experience of being online. And then let's find our local people that we can connect with in person. And maybe this requires you to invite some people to partner with you and to come and join Uplifted Collective so that you can have more of your community, and then the word will just continue to spread. Now, will it be as good as I say it will? Well, this place, this space is only going to be as good as we make it. So if we make it a hoppin', amazing, incredible environment for all of us, and if we really keep that blue zone vision at the forefront, yeah, yeah. And it's already amazing. Like, we're already just like, wow, this is so cool. This is so fun. We're already experiencing a lot of the benefits, and there's more to come. The more to come as we continue to grow in ourselves, as we continue to grow our community. And maybe you're thinking, well, why should I pay for something when I already have free social media? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you probably have lots of Facebook groups. You probably have lots of places where you are connecting with people. What I know to be true is that we pay attention to the things that we invest in. When I pay $10,000 for a course, you better believe I'm showing up for that course, right? We tend to start to notice things more, pay attention to things more. We tend to put more of our attention on something if we actually invest in it. And then you might be thinking, well, I don't even know if you're my person. Like, I mean, maybe not. And you know what? I may not be your person. I may not be. And if I'm not your vibe, all good. You are not required to enroll here and sign up with Uplifted Collective. But I would encourage you to find a place where you will find your home, where you will find your community. So feel free to go to upliftedcollective.co. And here's the thing, even if you're not ready yet, you can join at any time. The bonuses are available until Monday morning. And the reason they're available until Monday morning is because we have our weekly gathering Monday at noon. And we have them a couple of different times depending on the week. But we have one this coming up Monday at noon, and I'd love for you to be a part of that. So I decided, you know what, let's do those bonuses until 8 a.m. and then we can make sure you get set up with your app, which is really easy, and the notifications, and then you can take a lunch hour or wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in, you can come and tune in if you like. So you're welcome to join anytime. Bonuses are available until Monday morning. And all you do is go to upliftedcollective.co. Now, if you know somebody, you're thinking, oh, I think they would really love this. I think they would really jive with the vibe here. Send them the information. Send them the replays for the masterclass. Invite them to come and check it out. Now, I mentioned Joanne hadn't even seen the masterclass. Her friend had just said, I think you really should join. And so she just did. And she thought to herself, what am I doing? I don't even know. And yet it has actually been such a blessing. And the funny thing is, she just lives up the street from me. So we're constantly, seeing each other as we're passing on the street while she's walking her dogs, or I'm out walking or whatever. So it's kind of fun how the universe works, right? But people tend to trust us when we recommend things that have benefited us. So if you feel this has benefited you in any way, highly recommend that you refer somebody that you care about to check this out, because then we get to all bless each other and be part of this incredible collective. So tomorrow we're going to talk about purpose. Tomorrow we're going to talk about what it means for us to live a life where we are purpose driven. And perhaps you already have a sense of purpose. Perhaps you already feel really lit up about the things that you're a part of in your life. Amazing. So great. And perhaps you want to come just because you want to learn some tips that you can share with somebody else. Because ultimately, the more we learn, the more we can share with others, right? And for me, living a life on purpose means that I wake up feeling joyful and I feel creative and I'm excited to do the things that I do. And I'm excited to connect with the people that I get to connect with. And that's what happens when we are living our purpose. And I believe we all have a purpose within us. And I believe I mentioned yesterday, my father, did I mention it yesterday? Maybe I was talking with somebody. I don't remember. Anyways, I apologize if I did say this yesterday, but my father was a man who was hospitalized a lot of his life. And yet his true purpose was to be totally present in every engagement, every encounter he had with somebody. His true purpose was to make people feel better when they left him than before they showed up. His purpose was to truly let other people know how magnificent they were, because just by him being himself, that's how people would leave. They would leave feeling full up. So we all have a purpose. We are all here for incredible reason. And I'm so excited that you're here. And I'm so glad to see you again tomorrow as we have our third and final day of our masterclass. And if you have any questions, please feel free to connect. You can find me on Instagram at Kimberly R. Chalmers. You can also find me on Facebook at Kimberly Chalmers. And do reach out, because I would love to be able to respond to any of the questions that you have about Uplifted Collective. Be brilliant. Have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow.